Today I'm going to show you how to make al pastor tacos at home. Al pastor actually translates to style of the shepherd, and in Mexico you traditionally see it on the spits, and it slowly roasts all day with a little pineapple on top and the juices run down, and it is so exceptional. So first we have the main ingredient, which is pork shoulder. We're going to chop it up into small pieces so that the flavor can go right to the center. I have chilies, I have some citrus, I have smoked paprika and salt, I have annatto, a little bit of stock, vinegar, onions, garlic, and a little bit of onions and cilantro to top it off when it's ready to cook. So first things first, I'm going to put all of our ingredients in this blender and create a nice, beautiful marinade. You may need to add a little water to make sure that everything blends nicely. So I'm just going to do that. I have a few mixes of chilies. Really just use all the chilies that you like. The flavor of guajillo is very popular in this dish. I'm just going to cut some citrus up. That's a nice acid to it. Juice that. And limes go well with everything. So I'm going to put a lime in here. And it's really quick. What you want to do is let it marinate overnight ideally, but 8 hours should be fine. And then we're just going to pick it up in a pan, crisp the outside, sprinkle a little salt, a little annatto. You can find this in a powder or liquid form. This is from the annatto seeds, and it just adds a nice color as well as nutty flavor. A little bit of stock, and then some vinegar. Now, I don't really like to follow recipes per se, but this is a general guide. Feel free to add more salt, more acid, more chilies based on what you really want to do. So we're gonna just puree that. There we go. So give it some time. You really want a nice deep red color. So that's what you're looking for. There we go. Beautiful. And I love al pastor because it's just got so much flavor, and you brown the outside and you get a nice caramelized meat, and it's so good. In Mexico you find them all on the streets, and it's almost like the shawarma style of meat. I'm gonna pour my chopped pork shoulder in here. And this is looking great. So I'm gonna turn that off, pour it in. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Gloves or not, you're just gonna really wanna marinate it. Make sure all the meat's covered. And then it's gonna spend overnight, flavor going right to the middle, and you are gonna have an incredible taco waiting for you. All right, so we have our al pastor that's been marinating. It looks like it's full of flavor. I am gonna have a pan, hot, on the fire, and we're just gonna crisp it up and try to mimic what you would find on the street on the trompo, which is that spit vertically. It's turning like this. All the outsides are crisping up. You have a little pineapple wedge on top dripping down the whole day. We're gonna kind of do the at-home version. It's still gonna be delicious. So here we are, putting some al pastor. I'm not gonna put too much in the pan because I wanna make sure we get color. And so, oh my God, I can already smell the garlic cooking. It's so good. And all those chilies, you're gonna love it. You just gotta use small pieces or it's gonna be chewy. Awesome. So we are ready to plate our tacos al pastor. Because we don't have an authentic spit rotating, we're gonna kind of modify it. So we have pineapple salsa to top it off, okay? Here we are, my al pastor pork, almost finishing up. Tortilla pan is hot. 2 tortillas, holds together stronger, more flavor. All right, here we go. We're gonna give that about 15 seconds aside. We wanna get a little color on it. And all we have is a pineapple, cilantro, lime salsa, and a lime, and you're ready to go. And you'll realize all the flavor is really in this meat from marinating and from the spice chili vinegar blend we have in here. You're gonna see how much of a rock star it is. Whew, it's hot. Give this about 15 seconds, and then we are ready to go. Just get a pot rack. Whoop. The al pastor nice and hot and crispy and colored. This is ready. All right, nice and hot. Woo. All right. Oh yeah, so nice. And you'll see when you have al pastor on the street, each one has a different recipe. Some of it's a little more red and uses more annatto seeds. It just depends. It's make it how you like it. All right, awesome chunky pineapple. You are so ready. You can put white onions if you want. I just like this little simple combination, and it is so amazing. This is how you make tacos al pastor at home. Today I'm going to show you how to make chicken tacos, but not just any chicken tacos. I'm going to tell you how to make Chipotle chicken tacos. And the reason why I put Chipotles in it is because I don't like boring, unseasoned, unflavored chicken. This is going to be the best chicken taco you've ever had. So first I have boneless chicken thighs, nice dark meat, a little bit of fat in it. I have Chipotles and adobo sauce, which you can find at your supermarket. That's going to add a nice smoky flavor, a lot of depth to the stock. Bay leaves, again, a nice little aromatic that's going to cook in there. So I right now have a vegetable stock going right now. Nice deep flavor, almost like a soup, because you really want this chicken to absorb a lot of flavor. So I'm going to put the chicken in here. We're looking at about 2.5 hours, maybe a little less to cook. You basically just want it to pull apart. It's almost like a shredded chicken. So then I'm going to add the Chipotles, aromatics. Here we go. And here you have your stock now with your chicken, your Chipotles and adobo, and your bay leaves. And you can just let that simmer for about 2 hours, and you will be so happy when that's over. It is going to be the best taco you've ever had. All right, guys, get really excited because this is the moment we've all been waiting for. The chicken is falling off the bone, full of flavor. I have fresh tortillas here. I have our tomato salsa we made. I have table sauce, which is to add a little bit of spice to it, limes, and cotija cheese. So I have a nice pan, hot. We're gonna use 2 tortillas because the meat is very full of juice and it will break through one, so we always reinforce it with the second. All right, so that's cooking here, high heat. You wanna get a little color if you can. In the chicken pot, I'm gonna pull this up and you can see I have this beautiful, just shredded chicken falling off the bone. The Chipotles are in here, they're falling apart. It's just gonna be amazing when it all mixes together. So I'm gonna focus on this tortilla right here. Don't burn yourself. We have beautiful brown color here. This takes about 30 seconds aside at most. So that's pretty much done. I'm gonna get my plate because we're getting ready for game time here. All right, flip. All right, there we go. So you see you have beautiful color here. It's awesome. All right, so take the chicken, strain the juice a little bit, chop it up. Oh my God, it looks amazing. And you can still see the seeds from the Chipotle, which are gonna give it a nice kick. Beautiful. Awesome. All right, there we go. Look at the beautiful shredded chicken thighs. Put a little chunky salsa on here. Awesome. Sprinkle some of the cotija cheese, which is similar to a Parmesan. It's like a salty cow's milk cheese. A little bit of lime. Awesome. And then if you want to take it up a notch, a little bit of hot sauce. Perfect. There we go. Now the moment we've all been waiting for. Chipotle chicken taco. Awesome. See that juice? That's why we have the second tortilla. Who wants to try chicken though? Oh my God. Banging. That's how you make a Chipotle chicken taco. I am going to show you how to make one of my favorite tacos today, and that's the beef brisket. So brisket is actually this area of the cow, and it's very fatty, and the reason why it's so delicious is because it has really good fat marbling. Now, I like to leave a little bit of the fat on the meat when I'm cooking it because it gently cooks the meat and it brings out such a deeper flavor. So what I'm gonna do is actually create like fist-sized pieces so that it fits nicely in a pan, and we're gonna get some nice color on it. You wanna brown the brisket before you cook it because you caramelize the outside with the fats, bring out the sugars, and it adds a really nice depth to the flavor. So what we're gonna do is just season the beef here and be confident with your salt. The meat really needs it to bring out the flavor. So I'm gonna properly salt this here. And so I'm gonna have a pan going right here, really nice and hot. I wanna put some oil in there so we get a nice brown color on it. And again, don't be afraid. Brisket is a fatty meat and we are proud of it. All right, so I'm gonna give that about 10-15 seconds to heat up, and then you want it to make a nice sizzle. That's the sound we want right there. That is going to be the beef caramelizing. And you're looking at about 2 minutes, maybe a little less total, depending on how hot your pan is. So while that's cooking, I'm going to get my stock ready. Now I just use over-the-counter stock. You're more than welcome to make your own. Now I like a really nice, deep flavored stock so that the beef will be flavored to the core when you're done cooking it. So what I do at the end, I just take a little taste. Need a little more because I want it to be really, really, really flavorful at the end. And it's really up to you how much stock you want to add. All right, check on my beef braising here. Close. You can see that it's starting to brown around the edges. All right, and then as soon as that's done, you're going to put it right into the stock. And then I also have some bay leaves, which bring a lot of flavor and depth to the stock, so I put that in. I'm going to check on the brown. That's perfect color right there. You want it golden brown. Perfect. And then these are pretty much ready to go into the stock. I'm going to do that. Turn that off. And then you're looking at about minimum 2.5 hours with the brisket. Because it's a muscle, it really needs a lot of time to cook slow and low. And if you really want to get professional, you can actually save the oil, put a little water and deglaze the pan and pour that in your stock, and you have an incredible brisket taco waiting for you. So I know you guys are really excited right now. The brisket, we've been patiently waiting for it to finish. The meat is broken down, it falls apart in your hand. I have it sitting in a little bit of the juice because that's just got so much of the flavor from when we cooked it. I'm going to cook fresh tortillas now. Remember, 2 layers. If you use one, it'll just break apart and no one likes a messy taco in their hand. So we're giving this about 20, 30 seconds aside. We want to get some color because that's the character here. While this is cooking, I have pineapple red onion salsa with cilantro, a little bit of lime, Mexican cotija cheese, which is similar to Mexican style Parmesan. It's a pasteurized cow milk grated. Then a little table sauce adds a little top layer of flavor. So here we are, see some brown color, and just really bringing out the nutty flavor when you give it some time over high heat. Bring this to the table here. And fat is okay, don't get rid of it. That is your friend. So here we are, so good. Don't overfill it either, you want it to be easy to eat. You can always make yourself a second one, which I will do right after this. All right, so here we go. Some fresh pineapple salsa. Beautiful. Look at the color. So much going on. All right. Sprinkle the cheese. Adds a little bit of a salt and a creamy flavor. Beautiful. And then finish it with the table sauce. This is a little hot sauce. This one's mild. It's guajillo chili based. All right. Lime. And you know I'm going to make a mess now, which is totally fine. Here we go. Hell yeah. Sweet, salty, beefy, everything. That's how you make a brisket taco. Today I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite tacos, tacos de lengua, which actually translates to beef tongue. So I have all my mise en place here. I'm going to saute them first because they take a few minutes. I have onions, garlic, a little bit of oil. I'm going to step over here, get that going, and we're going to sweat them to bring out the flavor. I love that sound, so good. On low here, all right. And then I have some jalapenos with the seeds and veins removed. Take a little bit of the heat away. All right, so I'm going to add that. All right. If you use jalapenos, wear gloves, guys, because the oil will irritate your skin. And if you touch your eyes, you're going to hate yourself. All right. And then I have a little mint up front there, which will also add a nice flavor to the braising liquid. All right. So that is sweating, smells delicious. All right, I have some stock here, some aromatics, which I'm going to add next. And so I just want to talk about this really quickly while this is sweating. So beef tongue is a muscle, and it is very firm, and it requires a long time to cook. So give yourself at least 2.5 hours. The front is very lean, the back is more fatty, and the fat is what makes this thing amazing. So if you ask me, this is my favorite piece, but we're gonna chop it up and mix it together so it's a little more even and uniform. So I think we're perfect here. Nice color. I'm just gonna add the aromatics, add the mint, stir it up a little bit, and got some water here. You want to submerge it? You can also roast the tongue. It's entirely up to you. I'm just a fan of braising because you can let the meat stay in the liquid and it'll make it a little easier to preserve. It'll allow it to, keep a little more flavor. I'm putting in vinegar now, adds a nice acidity to it. Lastly, I'm going to put some stock. I'm a huge fan of stock. It just adds a nice base flavor. If you want to be neutral, you can use vegetable stock, which is what I do a lot. You could use chicken if you want. If you're going to use beef, I would use it just to cook beef. So we have vegetables here. With this, you don't really need to do anything to it to prep. When it's done cooking, you're going to be able to peel this really coarse, these are like the taste buds. You'll be able to peel that right off. That's how you'll know it's done. So now I'm going to take the tongue, I'm going to put it in the braising pot here, and I would say you don't necessarily need to submerge the whole thing here because you're going to put a top on it and it's going to keep the heat going all around, but that liquid's going to reduce over time and you're going to have an amazing little broth/sauce that you can ladle over it. And about 2.5 hours later, we're just going to take a little knife and see if we can easily cut a piece off, see if it's ready. All right, so we've been patiently waiting for the lengua to braise. We're at about 3 hours now. You should really just feel inside. You want the meat to just pull off. It's so tender. So what we're going to do now is take this beautiful beef tongue, put it down, watch out, it's really hot. You can use your knife to help you. But see how it just peels right off? It's so beautiful. That's how you know it's done too. So we're just I'm gonna hold off doing it all, but I'm instead gonna cut my favorite part of the tongue, which is the bottom part right down underneath, because it has higher fat content and it is so delicious. So here we are. It's right here. You can see the beautiful layers of fat in the middle. That is what's gonna make your taco absolutely amazing. So just chop it up. I'm gonna save a little bit of the broth here to soak the meat in, because once you cut this up, you're gonna be exposing a lot of the meat to the flavor here. Whereas before it was right in the center of the tongue. Now you have the opportunity to really just absorb all that flavor. Oh my God, this is so good. All right, so tortilla pan heating right behind me. Got this right here. Awesome. We're gonna go simple here. We wanna highlight the flavor of the beef. We have tomato salsa, fresh avocados, lime. Everything is very mild. It's gonna show off how awesome our beef is. So I'm just gonna check this. We wanna add a little color, and then we're ready to build this baby. And guys, once you taste this, you won't even think twice that it's tongue. All right, here we go. Tongs, oh my God, that's amazing. See how moist that is? That's why I like to braise instead of roast. You can see you still have some of the jalapenos and onions in here. Beautiful. All right. Actually, use this. Awesome. And then if you want to spice it up a little bit, we have some hot sauce, lime. All right. Wow, so good right there. That is a taco de lengua.